Why is it that the most brilliant minds you know are often the ones struggling to pay their rent?
While the kid who barely scraped through high school is now running a multi-million-dollar empire.
You were told that your intelligence was your greatest asset.
You were told that your high IQ would be your golden ticket to a life of abundance, prestige, and financial freedom. But look around. Look at your bank account. Look at your stress levels.
There is a dark, uncomfortable truth that nobody in the ivory towers of academia wants to admit to you.
Your intelligence is not your engine. It is your anchor.
It is the very thing holding you back from the wealth you deserve. If you do not learn how to master your mind today, your brilliance will become the prison that keeps you broke for the rest of your life.
Pay close attention and stay with me until the very end, because I am going to reveal the exact psychological switch you must flip to turn your intellectual capacity into a financial powerhouse.
And failing to understand this one shift will keep you running on the treadmill of mediocrity forever. The first reason you are smart and poor is because you are suffering from the terminal disease of analysis paralysis.
A high IQ allows you to see every possible outcome, every potential risk, and every hypothetical failure before you even take the first step. While the less intelligent man is already out in the field, making mistakes, getting hit in the face, and learning how the world actually works. You are sitting in your room, drawing a map of a territory you have never stepped foot on.
You analyze the market until the opportunity has passed.
You refine your business plan until it is perfect, but perfection is the enemy of profit.
You are so afraid of being wrong that you never give yourself the chance to be right.
In the world of wealth, the fast beat the smart every single time.
Wealth does not respond to your theories. It responds to your actions.
You are treating life like a chess game where you have an infinite amount of time to move. But in reality, life is a boxing match.
While you are thinking about the perfect stance, the world is landing a left hook on your chin.
Think about the story of the two architects. One was a genius, a master of complex geometry and structural integrity. He spent 5 years designing the perfect building, calculating the wind resistance to the 4th decimal point, and obsessing over the aesthetics of the atrium.
The other architect was a pragmatist. He wasn't the smartest man in the room, but he understood the market.
While the genius was still drawing, the pragmatist built 10 simple, functional houses.
By the time the genius finished his blueprint, the pragmatist owned the entire neighborhood.
The genius had a masterpiece on paper. The pragmatist had a fortune in the bank.
Your intelligence makes you value the process of thinking over the result of doing.
You find intellectual stimulation in the problem itself, whereas the wealthy man finds satisfaction only in the solution and the reward.
Stop falling in love with the complexity of the problem. Start falling in love with the simplicity of the result.
The second reason your IQ is sabotaging you is the trap of the safe path. From the moment you showed promise in school, the system identified you as a high-value asset for someone else's machine. You were groomed to be the perfect employee. You were told that if you worked hard, got the degrees, and climbed the corporate ladder, you would be rewarded.
But the corporate ladder is a scam designed to keep the smartest people working for the most ambitious people.
Your intelligence makes you valuable to a CEO, so they pay you just enough to keep you comfortable, but never enough to make you their competitor. You are addicted to the steady paycheck because your analytical mind tells you that risk is irrational. You see the volatility of entrepreneurship and you recoil.
You choose the certainty of a monthly salary over the infinite upside of ownership. But understand this, you will never get rich by trading your time for money, no matter how high your hourly rate is. If you are the smartest person in the room and you are working for someone else, you are being exploited by someone who is brave enough to do what you were too calculated to attempt.
This brings us to the ego problem. Smart men often have an arrogance that is invisible to them, but obvious to the world.
Because you have been the smartest person in the room for most of your life, you believe that you know how the world should work. You think that because you understand macroeconomics, or because you can code a complex algorithm, you are entitled to success.
The world owes you nothing. The market does not care about your SAT scores. The market only cares about value. Your ego prevents you from learning from people you deem beneath you.
You see a man who dropped out of school and started a plumbing business, and you look down on him. Yet he is the one with the Ferrari and the freedom, while you are the one with the master's degree and the cubicle.
You must kill your ego before it kills your future. You must be willing to be a student of the world, not just a student of books. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the psychology of success, do yourself a favor and subscribe to this channel so you never miss a dose of the hard truth you need to hear.
Another hidden trap is the complexity bias. Smart people tend to believe that for a solution to be effective, it must be complex. You ignore the simple, boring businesses that actually make money because they aren't intellectually stimulating enough for you. You want to build a revolutionary AI-driven platform when you could have made millions by simply solving a basic problem in your local community. You over-engineer your marketing, you overcomplicate your sales scripts, and you confuse your customers. The most successful businesses in the world are built on simple ideas executed with relentless consistency. While you are trying to reinvent the wheel, the wealthy man is just selling the wheels that already exist to the people who need them.
He doesn't care if it's boring. He cares if it scales. Your high IQ makes you crave novelty and intellectual challenge, but wealth is often built on the back of monotonous, repetitive, and simple tasks. Can you handle the boredom of becoming a billionaire? Or will you keep chasing the next big thing because your brain is bored?
Furthermore, high IQ individuals often lack the emotional intelligence, or EQ, required to navigate the human element of wealth. Money is not a mathematical equation, it is a social one. Money flows through people. To attract wealth, you must understand human psychology, persuasion, and leadership. Often, the smartest men are the most socially awkward. They prefer logic over emotion. But people do not buy for logical reasons, they buy for emotional reasons. People do not follow leaders because they have the highest IQ. They follow leaders who make them feel inspired, heard, and secure. If you cannot communicate your ideas, if you cannot sell yourself, and if you cannot build a network, your intelligence will remain locked inside your head where it is worth $0. A man with a 100 IQ and elite social skills will outperform a man with a 150 IQ and poor social skills every single day of the week. You must stop studying the mechanics of things and start studying the mechanics of people.
Let us discuss the concept of the higher education debt. I am not talking about student loans, though those are a burden. I am talking about the psychological debt of being told you are special. When you are told you are a gifted child, you develop a fear of failure. You don't want to try anything where you might look stupid. Because your identity is tied to being the smart guy, you avoid any situation where you might be a beginner. But every master was once a disaster. Every millionaire was once a confused amateur. To build wealth, you have to be willing to look like an idiot for a year so you can look like a genius for a decade. The smart man stays poor because he is too proud to be a beginner. He stays in his comfort zone where he can continue to feel superior, even as his bank account stagnates. He would rather be the king of a small, broke hill than a foot soldier in a massive, wealthy army. Consider the case of the brilliant scientist who spends 20 years developing a new type of battery in his garage. He refuses to show it to investors until it is 100% efficient. He refuses to partner with a salesman because he thinks sales is beneath the science. Meanwhile, a mediocre engineer with a 10% efficient battery and a great sales pitch gets $10 million in funding, goes to market, and changes the industry. By the time the scientist is ready, the market has moved on, and he dies penniless with a perfect invention. This is not a tragedy. It is a choice. It is the choice to value intellectual purity over real-world impact. You must understand that a good idea that is implemented today is worth 1,000 perfect ideas that are still in your head. The world is changing. We are moving into an era where information is a commodity. Artificial intelligence can now do the smart work that used to be the domain of the high IQ elite. Calculation, data analysis, and technical writing are being automated. What cannot be automated is courage. What cannot be automated is the ability to take a risk when the data is incomplete. What cannot be automated is the grit to keep going when your logical mind tells you to quit. If you rely solely on your intelligence, you are competing with machines. If you rely on your character, your vision, and your willingness to act, you are in a league of your own.
You have the engine of a Ferrari, but you are driving it in a school zone at 20 miles per hour because you are afraid of the speed. You are afraid of what will happen if you really floor it. You are afraid that if you fail, you will prove that you weren't that smart after all. I am here to tell you that it doesn't matter if you are smart. It matters if you are useful. It matters if you are bold. It matters if you are disciplined. Take that massive brain of yours and put it to work on the most difficult problem of all, your own hesitation. Strip away the excuses. Strip away the need for more data. Strip away the ego that says you are too good for the grind. Wealth is waiting for you, but it will not be delivered to your door as a reward for your high IQ. It must be hunted, captured, and defended. Do you have the courage to be the student again? Do you have the strength to act when you don't have all the answers? Most men will listen to this and go right back to their books, their theories, and their comfortable poverty. They will tell themselves that they are waiting for the right time. But you are different. You are here because you know that something has to change. You know that your potential is being wasted. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these traps has been holding you back the most? Is it the fear of looking like a beginner? Or is it the cycle of overthinking every move? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. Your journey from being smart and broke to wise and wealthy begins the moment you decide that action is more important than theory. The world has enough thinkers. It is starving for men who have the intellect to see a better future and the balls to go out and build it. Do not let your brilliance be your tombstone. Let it be the fuel for your fire. Rise up, step out of the library, and enter the arena. The rewards are waiting for those who are brave enough to be wrong on the way to being rich. Until next time, stay sharp, but more importantly, stay active.